Kenyans of law and order. Madam Speaker, I want to join Kenyans, I want to join colleagues here in, it's difficult actually, I think you need to call to.
Order, honorable members, Honorable DK, Honorable Ochieng, Honorable Sirma, you have an opportunity to consult later on the matter, so kindly take your seat. Honorable members, let us be orderly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, STONA is a constitutional obligation of the President in line.
Honorable members, kindly consult in low tones.
Shall I?
Honorable members, Honorable Savula.
And it's taking my time.
Honorable Kandieu. Okay, proceed, Honorable KEINANA.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, STONA is a constitutional obligation of the President in line with Article 132(1)(c) of the Constitution, which mandates the President to report to the nation through Parliament on measures taken and progress achieved in realization of national values as set in the article, Madam. Madam, therefore, the President trusts in this address to the nation from the economic front has addressed so many issues which we need to internalize. The first issue, Madam Speaker, are the challenges facing the country. Madam Speaker, I don't know, there is still a lot of...
Honorable Member for Keses. Honorable Murui, kindly slow down on your consultation. Honorable DK, you will have an opportunity to consult on this matter during lunch break.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Keitany. Let us proceed. We are on a different matter altogether. You may proceed. You'll start again. You may proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the President's address to the nation through Parliament, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is a constitutional requirement. And we as members, as the representative of the people, pursuant to Article 1 of the Constitution, Madam Speaker, need to internalize this particular address in line with the expectation and the aspiration of the people of Kenya, Madam. The President has tried to address almost all issues from the economy to education, infrastructure, security, agriculture, and later on I'll address the issue of the lunar floods, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we must face the realities. This address, which is second after the Kenya Kwanza government actually came to power, addresses the silent issues that we have been avoiding. The silent issues, Madam Speaker, the role of independent institutions like the judiciary. I remember in the past, we were told we have 3 arms of government. There's still a problem. I don't know what we are going to do.
Honorable Muhia.
But it will be futile to...
Honorable Kandieu. Just proceed and ignore them because we can hear you.
In the past, when we were in school, Madam Speaker, we were told we have 3 arms of government. The judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. These days, we have many other arms of government. We have the independent institutions which have actually taken over the role of many of the other 3 arms. We also have the members of the Fourth Estate. We have the NGO community. But Madam Speaker, one thing that we must address as a nation is the role and the independent mandate of the judiciary. And this is one thing that the government, the President has, over the last few months, has attempted actually to solidify and address. And we are glad that the role of the judiciary is being addressed without demeaning them, without downgrading them. They are being funded. And that is meant actually to provide a neutral appetite to the other arms of government. And therefore, that is commendable. Madam Speaker, the other bit is the issue of affordable housing. We are aware that there has been challenges. Where I come from, Madam Speaker, before a few years ago, 2 things were foreign: tarmac roads and decent housing, Madam Speaker. Luckily, because of devolution right now, we have seen elements of tarmac road. And right now, because of this concept of affordable housing, we have been told, and we have a huge chunk of land, Madam Speaker. We hope and pray that our region will get facilities through this affordable housing, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the other issue is the issue of national security. In the past, Kenya is a responsible member of the international community. Not only a responsible member, Madam Speaker, Kenya has been a frontline state. Kenya has been an infrastructural hub. Kenya has been a security hub. Kenya has been a conferencing hub. Meaning we enjoy a special status, Madam Speaker, as a country, and this unique position must be appreciated by the leadership. And the President in his address, without prejudice, without anticipating debate on the issue of Haiti, on this, we need to understand how Kenya's position, how Kenya's image has been projected. First, over the last 1 year, Madam Speaker, we were a member of the United Nations Security Council. That is a coveted position which many African countries or many third world countries have been struggling to realize. We achieved it. And therefore, our position as a responsible member of the international community must at all times be projected, protected, and promoted. This, Madam Speaker, this can only come if we really appreciate that dynamic role of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, and I'm glad that the President has alluded to this, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on the issue of defense and security, Kenya is in the midst of many countries that have been bedeviled by security challenges. Look at our neighbors. Look at what has happened in Ethiopia recently. Look at what is happening right now in the Sudan. Look at what has happened in the Congo. Look at what has happened in Somalia. It's because of this that, Madam Speaker, every effort must be made to protect our international border, Mr. Speaker. Both internal security and international border. And this is why, this is one of the areas that the President has also alluded to. Madam Speaker, the issue of provision of affordable health care is something that all of us are yearning for. Recently, we passed a number of legislations, and I hope this will inject professionalism, efficiency, and efficacy, Madam Speaker, so that those Kenyans, those I think today is a bad day for the members, Madam Speaker. Members are still consulting loudly, and therefore what we are saying, even that may not even make sense. I hope you will. Madam Speaker, the issue of affordable health care is a constitutional requirement, Madam Speaker, and this is one thing that the President has also alluded to. Madam Speaker, the issue of national debt. I'm glad you know that you have taken a bit of my time, so I hope you will, yes.
Kindly add him some time because he's been interrupted. Can give him another 5 minutes.
Madam Speaker, the issue of national debt. This regime inherited a struggling economy, and we must say the truth. I'm glad that yesterday the leader of majority has emphatically said that Kenya is not going to default, enjoying the league of many countries that have been degraded, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is a reality. One thing that has given us leverage over the years as a responsible nation, Madam Speaker, is because of our commitment to our international obligation. Madam Speaker, the government should do everything possible to make sure Kenya does not default in our international obligation, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, without this, even the little that we have been enjoying, what has remained from high inflation, Madam Speaker, what is remaining from the high cost of living will be eaten once we default. Madam Speaker, the other bit that the President has also alluded to is the issue of digitization of government services, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is also critical. We are living in the era of the digital world. This must be felt at the villages, Madam Speaker, and this is one thing that every Kenyan is yearning for. Madam Speaker, having said this, recently I was taken aback, Madam Speaker, on the conflict, in particular by the meteorological department, Madam Speaker, and the report that they gave. Madam Speaker, we, the people of Northern Kenya, have had a very challenging history. Recently, our area was affected by drought. Right now, we are suffering because of El Nino. Madam Speaker, we expected the President, in his speech, also to include the issue of El Nino floods, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, today as we speak, 90% of our region, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, is completely cut off from the rest of Kenya. Madam Speaker, I know we don't have time and the provision to amend this, but Madam Speaker, we hope and we appreciate the government has declared the El Nino floods a national disaster. But Madam Speaker, that has yet to bring in any meaningful assistance to the region, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we hope the ministry is concerned, the Ministry of ASAL, Office of the Deputy President, Madam Speaker, Office of the President, the Ministry of Infrastructure, will put their house in order and ensure that the people of Northern Kenya who have been cut off completely by the El Nino floods get assistance, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is this thing that is really, I know very soon we'll be talking about the outbreak of cholera, dysentery, and other diseases, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, right now as we speak, the main road from Nairobi, Mwingi, Garissa, Wajir is completely cut off. Even the little tarmac that we have had, Madam Speaker, has been completely washed away. Madam Speaker, we hope and pray that this issue of El Nino floods will be taken seriously by the government. And now that they have declared this area a disaster zone, the necessary government services should also be provided, Madam Speaker, to the villagers, so that people also appreciate the presence of government, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, time for politics is over. I want to ask those who are still determined to rubbish everything that the government does, to give the government an opportunity to do their mandate, and when the time comes, you'll get an opportunity to interrogate them and evaluate them on the basis of their performance. Madam Speaker, in the African culture, when an institution like government or the people decide through elections to vote in a particular way, that particular way must also be respected. And this is why we are saying, allow the government to function. If they don't perform, you will have an opportunity in 2027. For now, this government has been duly elected. Allow them to function, allow them to do their work, allow them to operate. If they don't perform, let's undertake our responsibility as a responsible opposition. If we rubbish everything, and if we rubbish everything that the government does, then I can assure you there will be no need for elections. Allow them to function, critique them, evaluate them, both summatively, formatively. If they don't perform, you will have an opportunity. For now, this is their platform. Their platform is what they have said. And this is one thing that should be supported. I support the report.
Honorable Member for Laikipia West, Honorable Ashira Karani.